Mary Ann, I knew I forgot to ask you something. An adjourn date if necessary. Good morning, all.
Morning, Your Honor.
Oh,
Yes, Judge.
how did I? Here we are. That's better. It's not quite 9 o'clock, but I can't imagine that anybody would object to us starting just the skoshest early. I know there's somebody in the building for this docket. Okay.
That'd be Mr. Lyons, Your Honor. I
Yeah,
believe he's
I'm
ready.
downstairs.
I know, he's downstairs. Good morning, Mr. Lyons.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you, sir?
Better.
Mary Ann, if you're ready. This is 21 HR 0632B. I'm sorry, 6323 A and B. This would be Huron Township versus Marvin Daniel Lyons. Your appearances for the record, please.
Caitlin Foley Carter on behalf of the people, Your Honor.
Would you state your name for me, Mr. Lyons?
Marvin Lyons.
Thank you, sir. Today is the day and time set for your arraignment and pretrial and for pre-hearing. Sir, for the purposes of the arraignment, it's alleged that on June 7, 2021, in Huron Township, you drove while your license was suspended, revoked, or denied. This is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail, a fine of up to $500 plus court costs. On that same day, in that same location, it's also alleged that you were speeding 6 to 10 over the posted speed limit. If you were found to be responsible in this matter, the fines and costs typically total $150. There is an offer from the prosecutor that if you plead responsible to an added count of double parking, the misdemeanor and the civil infraction speeding would be dismissed. Would you like to accept this offer, or
Yes,
would you
ma'am.
like the opportunities? Yes, you
Yes,
say yes,
ma'am.
ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Lyons, you understand that if the court accepts your plea of responsible to the added count of double parking, you won't have a trial of any kind. You won't have the opportunity to call witnesses on your own behalf, and you will be considered to be responsible for this double parking.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And sir, you're pleading responsible freely and voluntarily. You haven't been threatened in any way, promised anything to get you to plead responsible.
No. No, I haven't.
Mr. Lyons, is it true that on June 7, 2021 in Huron Township, you were double parked contrary to law?
Yes, ma'am.
Your plea is accepted, sir. Double parking, the total fine in this matter will be $200. Will you be able to pay that within 30 days, or do you need more time?
Give me 40 days. I can make it within 40 days, 200.
Mr. Lyons, what I will do is send the matter to collections. You can call them or go online and make an offer or a payment plan. What's your phone number, sir?
Area code 423-579-5857.
Thank you. Anything else this matter on behalf of Huron Township?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Lyons?
I'm good. I can make the 30 days. I see right now I can make it. I'm gonna make sure I make it.
If you can, sir, that'd be great. Otherwise, collections
it's
will
gonna
be
be done.
in contact. I'm sorry?
It's gonna be done. Don't worry about that.
Thank you, Mr. Lyons. You're all set. You have a wonderful day.
All right. Y'all have a good day and y'all be safe.
Thank you, sir. This is 21 HR 05386 A, B, and C, and 21 HR 05386 D and E. It's in a weird order. Appearances, please.
Caitlin Foley Carter for the people, Your Honor.
Ms. Williams, would you unmute yourself and state your name for me, please?
Jasmine Williams.
Thank you. Ms. Williams, today is the day and time set for your pre-hearing and your civil infractions. So civil infractions being alleged to have occurred on May 12, 2021 in Huron Township. So violation of a child restraint law, no proof of insurance.
See, when the cop pulled me over, he asked for my insurance. He's asked for my license, my ID.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
if you give me one moment to do my part, I'll give you a chance to speak in just one moment, okay?
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Thank you. Defective or missing equipment, speeding 21 plus over the limit, and those were all the civil infractions, and then the misdemeanor of driving while license not valid or improper license. Ma'am, it's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and fines of up to $500 plus court costs. There is an offer from the prosecutor that if you plead guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, the misdemeanor driving while license not valid will be dismissed. The plea also asks that you plead responsible to violation of the child restraint law, which will carry a fine and cost of $130, and the no proof of insurance, the equipment violation, and the speeding would be dismissed. Do you wish to accept that offer, or would you like the opportunity to speak to the court-appointed attorney?
I'll accept that offer.
Ma'am, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning of guilty to allowing an unlicensed driver to drive and responsible to the child restraint law, you give your right to have a trial of any kind in this matter,
Yes.
and you're entering these pleas freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promised anything to get you to plead responsible and guilty?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Is it true, ma'am, that on May 12, 2021 in Huron Township, you violated the child restraint law?
Yes.
And ma'am, is it also true that on that day, that being May 12, 2021 in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Ma'am, the court accepts your plea responsible to the violation of the child restraint law, and in that case, you will be assessed total fines and costs of $130.
Okay.
On the misdemeanor allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, the court is going to assess a fine of $300, cost of $200. There's crime victims of $75, mandatory state costs of $50, and a fund fee of $20. The total in that case will be $645. Will you be able to pay those amounts within 30 days, or do you need more time?
No, I need to do a payment plan.
Your phone number, please, ma'am.
313-742-6401.
Thank you. You can either go online to the court's website, which is mi34thdistrictcourt.com, and submit a email request for a payment plan, or you can contact the court's collection department and request a payment plan. You can bring payments to the court, you can mail them to the court, or you can pay online.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else on behalf of Huron Township?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Anything else, Ms. Williams?
So I'll go on this court site right here and pay online my credit card.
I'm sorry?
It's like I go on this court address right here and I pay it with my credit card online, right?
You can. There's a transaction fee if you pay with a credit card. I don't know what it is off top of my head, but it's on the court's website.
Okay.
Anything else, Ms. Williams?
Well, that's it, ma'am. Thank you.
You have a good day, ma'am.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is 2-1 HR 06263, Huron Township versus Jayden Kirby. State your name for me, please, Mr. Kirby.
Jayden Robert Kirby.
Thank you. Sir, today is the day and time set for your arraignment and pretrial. It's alleged that on June 5th, 2021 in Huron Township, you drove while your license was suspended, revoked, or denied. Sir, this is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail, fine of up to $500 plus court costs. There is an offer from the prosecutor that if you plead guilty to the added count of failing to display a valid license, that the driving while license suspended charge will be dismissed. Do you wish to accept the offer of the prosecutor? Would you like the opportunity to speak to the court-appointed attorney? Or would you like to proceed on your own?
Am I allowed to ask a question first?
If you have a question, I would suggest you speak to the court-appointed attorney.
Okay.
He's
Can I-
here and you can join him in a breakout room.
Okay. Thank you.
You're going to see something on your screen that says that you're being invited to join the breakout room. Just hit join the room and you'll
Okay.
talk to him. Thank you. Mary Ann?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an adjourned date? Should we need one?
I will get that.
Thank you. Mr. Bowdish, did you come out or were you kicked out?
No, Your Honor, I came out voluntarily.
Let's see if we can get Mr. Kirby out.
I gave him instructions, Your Honor.
Well, I just tried to pull him out. Here he comes.
Can you?
We're ready, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Bowdish. For purposes of arraignment, how are we proceeding this morning?
Your Honor, we waive formal reading, stand mute. Ask the court to enter a not guilty plea. As far as the
And as
pre-trial,
to
Your
the
Honor,
offer from the prosecutor,
Mr. Kirby, Your Honor, wishes to take the mercy of the prosecutor and plead to an added count of no operator's license on person, with the understanding his original charge would be dismissed.
Good
Mr.
morning,
Kirby,
sir.
did you hear what Mr. Bowdish just put on the record? Mr. Kirby?
Oh, yes, I did, Your Honor.
And you wish to accept the offer from the prosecutor?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that if you enter a plea of guilty to the added count of failing to display a valid license, that you give up your right to have a trial in this matter, you give up the right to call witnesses on your own behalf, and to see and cross-examine any witnesses that the prosecutor might put forward?
Yes, Your Honor, I would.
And knowing this, you still wish to enter a plea of guilty to failing to display a valid license?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Kirby, is it true that on June 5th, 2021 in Huron Township, you failed to display a valid license?
Yes, ma'am, that is true.
And you did this, you failed to display even after being asked by law enforcement to so produce a license?
Yes, ma'am.
Satisfied,
Satisfied, Your
Ms.
Honor.
Foley Carter? Thank you, Mr.
Satisfied.
Bowditch. Sir, the court will accept your plea in this matter, assess a fine of $100, cost of $100. There's crime victims fee of $75, state cost of $50, and a fund fee, excuse me, of $20. My math puts that at $345. Are you able to pay that within 30 days, or do you need more time?
I'm able to pay that within 30 days, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sir, you can either come to the court and pay it, you can go online and pay it, or you can mail it in to the court.
Money
Anything
order,
further? I'm
right?
sorry?
I apologize. Is a money order acceptable?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further on behalf of the township?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Anything further, Mr. Bowditch?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Kirby, we're all set, sir. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. You too.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Kirby.
Thank you.
This is 21HR02609 A and B, 21HR05461 A, B, and C. These are all Huron Township versus Keith Ivan Yoas.
Yes, ma'am.
State your name for me, please, sir.
My name is Keith Yost.
Yost, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Yost, you have a couple of files with us this morning. One is a no proof of insurance, which is in default. You owe the court $378. The other ones are a civil infraction of impeding traffic, which is in default. You owe the court $330. There is a violation of a safety belt law from May the 14th, 2021. Again, a civil infraction. A speeding ticket from May 14, 2021, where total fines and costs will be $170 if you're found to be responsible. And also from May 14, 2021, there is a driving while license suspended, revoked, or denied. Sir, this is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail, fines of up to $500 plus court costs. there is an offer from the prosecutor that if you plead guilty to the added count of failing to display a valid license, that the driving while license, the speeding, the seatbelt would be dismissed. Do you wish to accept the offer made by the prosecutor? Would you like the opportunity to speak to the court-appointed attorney, or do you wish to proceed on your own?
I'll proceed on my own. I'll plead guilty. It is guilty. I was suspended at the time and whatnot, and I was speeding at the time. So I did all that, and currently I just now got into my grandmother's house. I've been living homeless with my kid, couch hopping, just trying to get everything in order. So I'll just get it dialed down as best as I can and pay what I got to.
Sir, when you say that you want to plead guilty, are you saying you want to accept the offer of the prosecutor to
Yes,
the no
ma'am.
operator's license and have the other matters, just the speeding,
Because
the seat?
I'm sorry, the no display of operator's license, that was from May 14th, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so with that, I did give him a valid ID. It was just suspended in the system. So I don't know if that's different or anything, but that's how that had occurred.
Okay.
But I will say, like you said, my license was suspended at the time, so therefore, I mean, I theoretically did not have an operator's license.
Okay. So it then would be accurate that you failed to display a valid license on that day, on that May 14, 2021.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is in fact what the prosecutor is offering.
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that if the court accepts your plea of guilty to failing to display a valid license, you won't have a trial of any kind. You won't have the opportunity to call witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine any witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes, I understand.
And sir, you're pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty of failing to display a valid license on the day in question.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, it's true that on May 14, 2021 in Huron Township, you failed to display a valid license when asked to do so by law enforcement.
Yes, ma'am.
Satisfied, ma'am?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Yost, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the added count of no operator's license on your person. In keeping with the offer made by the prosecutor, the driving while license suspended, the driving while license suspended, the safety belt, and the speeding tickets will be dismissed. As for fines and costs in this matter,
Oh no, I'm thinking in my head. I'm trying to see
What are you thinking?
what all charges do I have left after that then? Just the failure to show the valid ID, or
You, Mr. Yost, you have some older cases. Well, not older. They're from March the 6th of this year. The impeding traffic is in default, and that's the one you owe $330 on. The no proof of insurance from March is in default. You owe $378. The seatbelt violation from May 14th is being dismissed pursuant to the plea. The speeding ticket from May 14th is being dismissed pursuant to the plea. So the only remaining new case, the only one remaining from May 14th would be the failure to display.
okay. And then the no
Okay.
proof of insurance and the impeding traffic is sticking with it. That's separate. All right.
Correct, because they're already in default.
Yeah, that was from a while ago. Honestly, I'll be real, I forgot about those. That happened in my baby mama's car, and we're not getting into that storyline.
Sir, for the no operator's license, the court's going to impose a fine of $100, cost of $100. There's crime victims of $75, mandatory state costs of $50, and a fund fee of $20. By my calculations, that's $345. Are you able to pay that within 30 days, or do you need more time?
So $330 some, that's for the no license, correct? That's not everything?
Correct.
Okay, that I could pay within 30 days, yes.
What's
No,
what's your phone number, sir?
My phone number is 734-775-4637.
Because you have these other outstanding matters, what I would suggest to you is you go on to the court's website, which is mi34thdistrictcourt.com. You can submit a written request for a payment plan so that all these matters could be on the two from March, and this one can be in a singular payment plan. Or you can call the court and set up a payment plan. Or if you want to come in and set up a payment plan, there's options available to you.
Yeah.
But you can have a single payment plan to cover all three of these matters.
Okay. I will definitely be calling and setting that up.
Anything else this morning, sir?
No, ma'am, that is all.
Anything else on behalf of the township? We're all set, Mr. Yost. Have a wonderful day.
You as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. See, Marianne, I don't know if it's practical or possible. It would be nice. I'm talking to you, so I'm glad you're here. Thank you. I'm wondering if it'd be possible to have somebody from collections kind of in a breakout room with unlimited time. So when people are done on the record here, they can go straight in to set up a payment plan so that they then don't have to worry about submitting online or calling, and they can just go ahead and get that done, and they could be sent an email with the payment plan on it.
That would be a good idea. I like that idea.
We haven't talked about it in a while, but the sunflowers are opening finally. One is taller than me.
One survived. They survived.
He replanted after the rabbits had their way. He replanted, and there's the ones that are like a magenta color. It's starting to open. The head's probably this big. The gladiolas are up.
Oh.
Finally.
Oh.
It's August.
It's
So
gonna be so. Is it?
there's nobody here.
When I've done this with him before, no.
It's okay. I get to see Mr. Bowditch. So my day is
Your
all
Honor,
richer.
I'm glad to hear about your gladiolas, Your Honor.
Well, the cabbage has made a recovery as well.
It is a
yes.
bountiful year.
Well, yesterday's trip to Blocks without me came with fresh corn. So last night was fried corn for the first time this year.
Oh, good corn this year.
Oh, it was delicious. Mr. Jones.
All right, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, just currently at work. How are you doing today?
Okay. I am wonderful. Let me grab your files. This is 21HR05548 A and B, and then 21HR05548D. I wonder what happened to C. Did I miss?
C
Oh, I
should
did
be
miss C. Thank you. A, B, C, and D. They were just folded together, kind of funny. These are all Huron Township versus Davion Jones Parish. Could you state your full name for me, sir?
Darian Jerome Davion Jones Parish.
Thank you. Sir, today is the date and time for your arraignment and pretrial and pre-hearing on these matters, all to alleged to have occurred on May the 16th, 2021 in Huron Township. There is an allegation, a civil infraction, that you were speeding 16 to 25 over the posted speed limit. The typical fine and cost in this matter would be $180. There's also a defective or missing equipment violation notice. Typical fines and costs would be $150 if you were found responsible. No proof of insurance. Again, typical costs and fines would be $220 if you were found responsible. And then there is a singular misdemeanor alleging that on that day, May 16, 2021 in Huron Township, you drove while your license was suspended, revoked, or denied. Sir, this misdemeanor is punishable by up to 93 days in jail, fines up to $500 plus court costs. There is an offer in the file from the prosecutor that if you plead guilty to the driving while license suspended, that the civil infractions would be dismissed, that being the speeding, the equipment violation, no proof of insurance. Do you wish to accept the offer made by the prosecutor? Would you like the opportunity to speak to the court-appointed attorney, or would you like to proceed on your own this morning?
I guess I could take time to proceed on my own this morning. It's a couple things that I wanted to state, and also a couple questions I wanted to ask.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, ma'am.
This is the first hearing. This is the arraignment where we typically just take a plea of guilty, not guilty.
Oh,
or you can
yeah.
enter the plea. If you, hold on one second. I understand you're at work. If you have questions, you can go into a breakout room with the court-appointed attorney. He's here and available to answer the questions you might have, and there's no wait this morning to speak with him.
Okay. Okay. And I'm sorry if I do take the plea. Can you repeat the outcome of the situation again? I'm sorry.
If you plead guilty to the driving while license suspended, the misdemeanor in this case, the civil infractions would be dismissed. That's the offer made by the prosecutor, that being the speeding, the no proof of insurance, and the equipment violation. I don't know what the violation was, but the three civil infractions would be dismissed.
Yes, ma'am. I would plead guilty.
You understand that if the court accepts your plea of guilty to driving while license suspended, you won't have a trial of any kind in this matter. You won't have the opportunity to call witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine any witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
Sir, are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it true, sir, that on May 16, 2021 in Huron Township, you drove while your license was suspended, revoked, or denied?
Yes, ma'am. I didn't
Satisfied,
have the
ma'am?
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. No, you're fine. What were you saying, Mr. Jones?
I was just stating at the time. I didn't know that they were suspended at the time because I have a Georgia license and everything, and I just recently paid the ticket off because I recently found out myself. So yes, but yes, ma'am.
Was that the only thing you had outstanding?
My license being suspended.
And you said you've taken care of that already?
Yes, ma'am. I just recently paid it on Thursday. This past Thursday.
If that's the case, Your Honor, we'll move to amend to allowing unlicensed driver to drive.
Do you have any objection to that, Mr. Jones?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Prosecutor. Based on that, Mr. Jones, the court is going to assess a fine of $300, cost of $200, crime victims fee of $75, mandatory state costs of $50, and a fund fee of $20. That's a total of $645. Are you able to pay that within 30 days, sir, or do you need more time?
I will need a little more time, but is there a way I can pay in fractions?
Yes, sir. What you can do is you can either go on the court's website, which is mi34thdistrictcourt.com, and there's a way for you to submit a written request for a payment plan. You can call the court's collection department and set up a payment plan, or you can come in and set up a payment plan. May I have your phone number, please?
I just recently got this number. I don't know it by heart. Is there any way I could give you my girlfriend's number? And I'm not sure if she can receive any kind of text message or anything.
I'll take the number, write it in the file, sir.
Yes, ma'am. It's area code 586-525-5655. 2245.
Okay. Mr. Jones, what I would request is that you contact the court in one form or another and set that payment plan sooner rather than later, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And the court's collection department will work with you to set up a payment plan,
Okay, and
okay?
you said the 34th District Court?
Yes, sir, in Romulus.
Okay.
Anything else this morning, Mr. Jones?
No, ma'am.
Thank you so very much. Go back to work, sir.
Okay, thank you. You enjoy the rest of your
Okay.
day.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I don't know who this is on the iPhone.
Hello, I'm Vincent Davis.
Mr. Davis, how are you this morning?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
I am wonderful, and you are just a skosh early, but I appreciate that. Let me grab the file.
Sorry, it said to be here 15 minutes prior.
Listen, absolutely wonderful. I'd rather you be early than late. These are 21 HR 05523 A, B, and C. Sir, today is the day and time set for your arraignment and pretrial on a misdemeanor file, which alleges that on May the 15th, 2021, in Huron Township, you drove while your license was suspended, revoked, or denied. This is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and fines of up to $500 plus court costs. On that same May 15th date in Huron Township, it's alleged that you drove with no proof of insurance. If you were found responsible, fines and costs could total up to $220. And on that same date, it's alleged that you were driving recklessly. This is a misdemeanor, sir, punishable by up to 93 days in jail and fines of up to $500 plus court costs. Mary Ann, make a note that this reckless driving is in an orange file for some reason. There is an offer from the prosecutor, Mr. Davis, that if you plead guilty to the reckless driving, the driving while license suspended, and the no proof of insurance would be dismissed. Would you like to accept the offer made by the prosecutor? Would you like the opportunity to speak to the court-appointed attorney, or would you like to proceed on your own this morning?
What that offer, what did that offer exactly, what would that come with, that offer? Like what kind of fine would I have to pay, or what would I be, what is my offer for that?
Mr. Davis, what I'll suggest is that you join the court-appointed attorney, Mr. Bowditch, in a breakout room, and he can answer your questions. On your screen, you should see an offer to join the breakout room. Please go there with him, and he'll discuss the offer with you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Huh? Ồ, nói sao? Nói đi. Hello.
Good morning. Hi.
Yes.
This is 21 HR 05631 A, B, C, and D. This is Huron Township versus Heap Lee.
Yes, yes. We need that for that.
Sir, today's the day and time set for your arraignment and pretrial. It's alleged that on May 18, 2021 in Huron Township, you drove while your license was not valid.
Yes.
Or you had an improper license.
What it is I from California.
Sir,
Yeah.
this is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail plus fines and fines of up to $500 plus court costs. On that same day, sir, it's also alleged that you had no proof of insurance. This is a civil infraction.
I do have insurance.
No. Let me finish reading the files and then you can respond, okay? Thank you. This is a civil infraction where where if you're found responsible, fines and costs typically total $220. There's a speeding 6 to 10 over the limit. You're found responsible, fines and costs typically are on the order of $150, and the registration or plate violation. Sir, this is a misdemeanor. Am I missing something? Registration or plate violation punishable by up to 90 days in jail and fines of up to $500 plus court costs. There is an offer from the prosecutor that if you plead guilty to failing to display a valid license, the added count of failing to display a valid license, the driving while license suspended, the plate violation, the no proof of insurance, and the speeding would be dismissed. Would you like to accept the offer made by the prosecutor? Would you like to speak to a court-appointed attorney, or would you like to represent yourself this morning?
Yes, I feel guilty. Yes, I can take the charge.
I'm sorry?
I can take the charge. I can pay.
You'll accept the plea made by the prosecutor?
Yes, yes.
Sir,
But
you
I have
understand that the
ignorance.
court,
But I do have.
you understand that you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you won't have a trial of any kind?
Yes,
You understand that you won't be able to call witnesses or cross-examine any witnesses put forth by the prosecutor?
yes,
And you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
yes,
Sir, is it true that on May 18, 2021 in Huron Township, you failed to display a valid license when requested to do so by law enforcement?
yes,
Satisfied, ma'am?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Sir, the court accepts your plea of failing to your plea of guilty to the added count of failing to display a valid license. And will assess a fine of $100, cost of $100, crime victims fee of $75, state costs, mandatory state costs of $50, and fund fee of $20. That's a total of $345. Are you able to pay that within 30 days, or do you need more time?
Can I need more time, please?
More time? Your
Yes.
phone number, sir?
916-320-6799.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the area code.
916
916?
320-6799.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Your file will be sent down to our collections department. You can go online to the court's website and submit a written request for a payment plan. You can call the court's collection department and request a payment plan, or you can come into the court.
How do I make a payment plan?
You can go online to mi34thdistrictcourt.com,
Thank you.
and there's a mechanism, there's a tab where you can submit your request for a payment plan.
Okay,
Anything else this morning, sir?
that's it. Thank you. very much.
Anything else on behalf of the township?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Thank you. We're all set, sir. You have a wonderful day.
You have a nice day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. I saw you come in. I reached my hand for you. You have a file?
Yes, I just wanted to drop these off.
These?
It's one person, multiple files. So Sharon is calling Romulus to speak with the defendant ahead of time.
Thank you.
So hopefully when Sharon and Romulus both show up, they'll be ready to go for you.
Thank you. We had another problem with Sumter on Friday.
Yes,
So I don't know what we do.
I heard about that.
It was fine. But it was
fine,
just,
but
no, listen, it's technology in 2021. And if we can be supportive of people, I don't care who it is, getting connected, I am happy to do that. I just need to know if we know what the issue is. If there's something we can be doing to be better supportive. Like we had a gentleman come in this morning because he couldn't get on in his other place. So whatever we can do to be helpful.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how, because it is Huron that usually has the issues with not only getting an officer to come out, but also not being able to log on to Zoom. I don't
Okay.
know. Unless we resend them the information again. Because we've done that, so I
Okay.
don't know if that. If you have any ideas, though. I'll think about
Chromebooks for everybody, and you can log on your Chromebook. Listen, I'm a fan of whatever works. It's, everybody has trouble from time to time. I've had trouble getting on from home. I lost my signal on Saturday in the middle of a meeting. So, I mean, it happens.
Right,
But if we can help,
right.
I'd
No,
rather
I
help.
agree with you. I just can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I will think on it because
Yep.
I agree. It'd be good to help them and also help us.
And I'll keep my eye open for Lieutenant Jackson. So when he pops on, I'll know that he and Sharon are ready.
Yes,
And
it
you put-
might be Sergeant Smith today.
Sergeant Smith? How did we get so lucky?
I don't know.
Thank you,
That's
ma'am.
who sent over the
Oh,
paperwork this morning was Sergeant Smith.
I guess I'll read the file while we're waiting for Mr. Bowditch. Thank you, ma'am. And thank you for having your file so well prepared.
Me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you're welcome. It
I
makes
came
it
in on Saturday. I was very happy.
good. I'm sorry I didn't get to you until Friday.
Oh, then that was perfect. I got here Saturday afternoon sometime and everything was all rubber band together and ready. Was
Oh.
that enough time, Mr. Bowditch, or were you kicked out?
No, Your Honor. Could I spend just a few more moments with Mr. Davis?
Absolutely. Mary Ann, you saw that we had a visit from Andy.
Yes, I did.
Sergeant Smith, aren't we lucky?
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
No.
All right, we're back.
I'm sure the judge.
Mr. Davis, I see you. I was trying to get something else done. So let me stop doing this other thing. We're back on the record in Huron Township versus Davis. Mr. Bowditch, how are we proceeding this morning?
Well, Your Honor, for purposes of arraignment, we waive formal reading and stand mute. For purposes of the pretrial, Your Honor, I'd like to adjourn this for just some discovery. Ms. Foley, if I could get a police report sometime, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
The next date we have available, I just saw the sticky note from Mary Ann, is September 20th, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. and that will be back with Al Hemman.
Thank you, Your Honor.
September 20th, 2021 at 8:30. Anything else this morning on behalf of the township?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Anything else? Oh, Mr. Bowditch, we're gonna set bond at 3,000 personal. Mr. Davis, you don't need to post any money, but what you do need to do is appear at the next hearing, okay?
Okay.
Mr. Davis, you have questions, you call me. Once I get that with police report, I'll touch base with you.
Okay. Sounds good, Mr. Bowditch.
And then we'll go from there, sir. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
Have a good day, Mr. Davis. You're all set.
All righty. Thank you.
Good morning. This is 21H000982 A and B, Huron Township versus Heracilo Torres Jimenez.
Heraclio Torres Jimenez.
Thank you. Sir, today is the day and time set for your arraignment and pretrial. It's alleged that on June 8, 2021 in Huron Township, you drove while your license was suspended, revoked, or denied. This is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail, plus fines of up to $500 plus court costs. It's also alleged that on that day, June 8, 2021, you committed the civil infraction of speeding 11 to 15 over the posted limit. If you were found responsible for this, the typical fine and cost is $170. There is an offer from the prosecutor that if you plead guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, the driving while license suspended and the speeding would be dismissed. Do you wish to accept the offer put forth by the prosecutor? Would you like to speak to the court-appointed attorney, or would you like to represent yourself this morning?
Yes.
Yes, which one?
Okay. Can you repeat that, please?
Do you wish to accept the offer from the prosecutor? Would you like to speak to court-appointed attorney? Or would you like to proceed on your own this morning? Sir, who are you speaking to off camera?
Yeah, my dad, because my English is not that good. I don't, that's why I'm saying if you can repeat it, because I don't understand very good. So
What I'm going to have you do, sir, is go into a breakout room with the court-appointed attorney.
okay.
Thank you.
Who is this, Your Honor?
This is Torres Jimenez at 10 o'clock. Sergeant Smith, if you're there and ready.
Every time okay. Hello?
Hi, how are you, sir?
All right, Your Honor, how are you?
I am wonderful. Has Ms. Greer spoken to Mr. Storm?
Yes.
Okay, she's not here quite yet. I have another docket, but if you
Okay.
sit tight, as soon as I see her pop on, I'll stop the other stuff to address your matter.
All right.
Thank you. This is 21HR02091 A and B, Huron Township versus Sarah Catherine Montgomery. State your name for me, please, ma'am.
Sarah Montgomery.
Ms. Montgomery, today is the day and time set for your arraignment and pretrial on in this matter. It's alleged that on February 21st, 2021 in Huron Township, you drove while your license was suspended, revoked, or denied. This is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and fines of up to $500 plus court costs. On that same day, also in Huron Township, it's alleged that you disobeyed a traffic sign. This is a civil infraction that if you were found responsible, the typical fine and cost in this matter is $280. There is an offer from the prosecutor that if you plead guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, the disobeying the stop sign and the driving while license suspended would be dismissed. Do you wish to accept the offer made by the prosecutor? Would you like to speak to the court-appointed attorney, or would you like to proceed on your own?
I'll plead guilty.
You'll accept the offer of the prosecutor?
Yes.
Ma'am, you understand that if I accept your plea of guilty this morning, you give up your right to have a trial of any kind in this matter. You give up the right to call witnesses on your own behalf and see and cross-examine any witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes.
And you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
No one's threatening you in any way, promise you anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Ma'am, is it true that on February 21st, 2021 in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Ma'am, Ms. Montgomery, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. The driving while license suspended and the disobeying a stop sign will be dismissed as indicated in the plea offer from the prosecutor. The court is going to impose a fine of $300, cost of $200. There's mandatory crime victims fee of $75, mandatory state cost of $50, fund fee of $20, and there is a warrant fee of $50. Ma'am, that's a total of $895. Are you able to pay that within 30 days or do you need more time?
I need more time.
Oh, ma'am, I'm sorry. That's not right. It's not $895. I'm sorry, it's $695.
Okay.
What I can do is have the matter referred to the collections department. You can go online to mi34thdistrictcourt.com. You can submit a written request for a payment plan to our collections department. You can call the collections department to set up a payment plan.
Okay.
We have a phone number for you that ends in 9590. Is that still a valid number?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else on behalf of the township this morning?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Anything else, Ms. Montgomery?
I do have a question. So I tried to pay the stop sign off, but they told me that they were gonna hold it until I had my court date.
That's been dismissed.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day, ma'am.
Yep, you too.
Mr. Badish, was that sufficient time with Mr. Torres?
You know, I was doing fine and then we just lost connection and they couldn't unmute. So I'd like to go back into a breakout room and maybe Mary Ann can help them or something because, you know, I can't help them.
He's not muted right now, so Mary Ann will reopen the breakout room.
All right, Mr. Jimenez, don't touch nothing.
Okay, I didn't do that.
He has to touch something to go into the breakout. This
All right,
is
just join the breakout
21 HR. This is 21 HR 03744 A, B, and C. Huron Township versus Zachary Varela. State your name for me, sir.
Zachary Varela.
Thank you. Today is the day and time set for your arraignment and pretrial. It's alleged that on April the 3rd, 2021 in Huron Township, you drove while your license was suspended, revoked, or denied. This is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail, fines of up to $500 plus court costs. It's also alleged that on that day you committed the civil infraction of speeding, going 6 to 10 over the posted speed limit. If you were found responsible in this matter, typical fines and costs are $150. Also on April 3rd, it's alleged that you were driving with no proof of insurance. This is a civil infraction. If you were found responsible, typical fines and costs are $220. There is an offer from the prosecutor that if you plead guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, the driving while license suspended, the speeding, and the no proof of insurance would be dismissed. Would you like to accept the offer made by the prosecutor? Would you like to speak to the court-appointed attorney, or would you like to proceed on your own this morning?
I guess I would like to know what that charge would entail.
There is a court-appointed attorney available to discuss it with you, sir. He just went into a breakout room with someone else. But if you sit tight and mute yourself again when Mr. Bowditch is available, we'll put you in a breakout room with him, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I see that Ms. Greer is now here. Mr. Merchant, I'm going to ask you to mute yourself while these other matters are proceeding. Thank you. This is 210495, 210390. These are State of Michigan versus Jeremy Jacob Storm. Sergeant Smith, if you would unmute the PD. Appearances, please.
Sergeant Smith, Romulus Police Department.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Sharon Greer, print on behalf of Mr. Storm. If I may say, Your Honor, I'm having a very difficult morning, and that's why I'm a little tardy. Very bad headache, but I'm here, and I ask you to forgive me for my tardiness.
Ms. Greer, you are not tardy when the court's on the record sitting on the bench. As long as you show up before I'm done, I'm happy.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. I appreciate that. And as in regards to Mr. Storm and the arraignment, I have gone over the charges with him and informed him of his penalties for those charges. And for that reason, we would waive the formal reading of the charges and stand mute to them.
Would you state your name for me, please, Mr. Storm?
Jeremy Storm.
Thank you. Were you able to hear Ms. Greer just now?
Yes.
As she indicated, this is your felony arraignment, sir. Attached to the front of their file was a petition for a court-appointed attorney. The court has signed that. You will be assigned counsel going forward in this matter. There is also, you have a right, sir, to have a preliminary examination scheduled in this matter. You have the right to be considered for pretrial release. There is a recommendation from law enforcement that your bond be set at $10,000, 10%. And that you have no contact with the alleged victim in this case, that being Savannah Clendeering. Ms. Greer, what do you say as to bond in this matter?
Your Honor, for clarification, I told Mr. Storm that there were two charges, stalking aggravated as well as a domestic violence. And I just want to make sure that that is correct. That's what I received in the email.
That is correct. He had previously been arraigned on the domestic violence case from May 11th, 2021.
Your Honor, in regards to the bond, Mr. Storm is indicating that he would not be living at the current address that he's listed with the complainant, that he would be able to live with his mother. We understand that the police officers have a recommendation, and at this point, we would leave it to the discretion of the court. I asked Mr. Storm about a tether. Would he rather have a tether? And he indicated to me, as opposed to being in jail, he would rather have a tether. So I would ask the court to consider that as well.
You got to figure out what the other ticket, you got to call them. Check it out.
Thank you, Ms. Greer. The court is going to deviate slightly from the recommendation and set Mr. Storm's bond at $5,000, 10%. Mr. Storm is to have no contact with the alleged victim in this case, that being Savannah Clendening. No contact, sir, means no contact, no direct contact, no contact with third parties, no contact through social media. Understood?
Yes, sir.
I will.
The court is concerned, sir, that you were previously arraigned and there was a no contact order the day after your arraignment. You did, in fact, allegedly make some contact with the complaining victim in this case. So again, no contact means no contact. The next date in these proceedings will be your probable cause conference conducted by Zoom. That will be on August the 25th, 2021. At 8:30 a.m. That hearing will be with Judge Oakley, again by Zoom. That case is 210495FY. Ms. Greer has previously indicated in the file that is 210390SM Mr. Storm was arraigned in this matter on May 13th, 2021, and was supposed to return to the court on May 25th, 2021. Thank you, ma'am, for a pretrial conference. And the matter was again adjourned. Oh, sorry. Defendant failed to appear for court date. So the warrant was based on his failure to appear. But in any event, pretrial in this matter will be on the same date as the PCC, that being August the 25th, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. with Judge Oakley. Mr. Storm also has a civil infraction that is in default in this court, that being from June the 26th, 2020, on a no proof of insurance. He owes the court $378. Anything else asked to Mr. Storm, Ms. Greer?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Sergeant Smith?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. We're all set in this matter. The paperwork will be over shortly.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Bowdish, was that sufficient time with Mr. Torres?
Mr. Jimenez, Your Honor?
Torres Jimenez, yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor, we're ready to proceed.
This is a file that ends in 982 A and B. For purposes of arraignment, Mr. Bowdish, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, we would waive formal reading, stand mute, ask the court to enter a not guilty plea.
As for the purposes of pretrial, sir.
Your Honor, Mr. Jimenez would be wishing to take the mercy of the prosecutor, pleading guilty to an added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive a vehicle, with the understanding his two original charges would be dismissed.
Mr. Jimenez, were you able to hear what Mr. Bowdish just indicated on the record?
Yes, Honor.
And you wish to accept the offer made by the prosecutor to plead guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes, Honor.
Sir, is it true that on June 8th, 2021 in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes, I am.
Satisfied, Madam Prosecutor?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Satisfied, Mr. Bowditch?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Sir, the court accepts your plea of guilty to allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. The driving while license suspended and the speeding tickets are dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The court will assess a fine of $300, cost of $200. There's crime victims of $75, mandatory state costs of $50, and a fund fee of $20. That's $645 by the court's calculation. Mr. Jimenez, are you able to pay that within 30 days or do you need more time?
Yeah, we can pay that in 30 days. Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Make a note in the file that $645 is due in this matter by September 16, 2021. Sir, if we get to be close to that due date and you haven't made payment, you can go online to the court's website, mi34thdistrictcourt.com, and submit a written request for a payment plan, or you can come to the court, contact the court, and make a request for a payment plan. Anything else in this matter, Ms. Foley Carter?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Bowditch?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Mr. Torres Jimenez, we're all set. You have a wonderful day, sir.
You too, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bowditch, there's Mr. Varela. Have you been into a breakout room with him?
No, Your Honor.
This is Zachary Varela. There is a driving while license suspended, no proof of insurance, and a speeding. The offer is allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. He had a few questions for you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Merchant,
Yes, Your Honor.
this is 21HR 06589 A and B, Huron Township versus Brian Merchant II. State your name for me, please, sir.
Brian Merchant.
Mr. Merchant, today is the day and time set for your arraignment and pretrial on the misdemeanor that alleges that on June 13, 2021, in Huron Township, you drove while your license was suspended, revoked, or denied. This is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail, fines of up to $500 plus court costs. Sir, it's also alleged that on that same date and time, you committed the civil infraction of speeding, that being 11 to 15 over the posted limit. This civil infraction, if found responsible, typically carries fines and costs of $170. There is an offer in the file from the prosecutor that if you plead guilty to the added count of failing to display a valid license, that the misdemeanor driving while license suspended and the speeding 11 to 15 over would be dismissed. Would you like to accept the offer made by the prosecutor? Would you like the opportunity to speak to the court-appointed attorney, or would you like to proceed on your own this morning?
I accept.
Sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, you won't have a trial of any kind. You will have the opportunity to call witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine any witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Not necessary.
Not necessary, which part?
I don't need to, I can take care of this today. I don't need to have any witnesses or anything like that.
Sir, are you entering this plea freely and voluntarily? No one's threatened you in any way, promised you anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
No, which part, sir?
No one has, I haven't been threatened or anything or made any promise.
Thank you. Is it true that on June 13, 2021 in Huron Township, you failed to display a valid license upon request, although requested by law enforcement to do so?
Correct.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Sir, the court accepts your plea to the added count of failing to display a valid license, sir, and will assess a fine of $100, cost of $100, crime victims of $75, mandatory state costs of $50, and a fund fee of $20, as a total of $345. Are you able to pay that within 30 days, or do you need more time?
I can pay it. How do I go about paying it?
You can either bring it to the court, you can go online to the court's website and pay it, or you can mail it into the court.
Okay.
Sir, what I would suggest is if we get close to September 16th and you haven't made payment, that you go online to the court's website or reach out to the court in some other manner to make sure that you in fact pay this fine and cost, okay?
Okay.
Anything else this morning, sir?
No. Thank you very much.
Mr. Merchant, we are all set. You have a wonderful day, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is 20HR 06201OT, Huron Township versus Jennifer Hammond.
Yes, ma'am.
State your name for me, please, ma'am.
Jennifer Hammond.
Thank you. Ms. Hammond, today is the day and time set for your arraignment and pretrial. It's alleged that on July 12, 2020, in Huron Township, you drove while your license was suspended, revoked, or denied. This is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail, fines of up to $500 plus court costs. There is an offer from the prosecutor that if you plead guilty to the added count of failing to display a valid license, that the driving while license suspended would be dismissed. Do you wish to accept the offer made by the prosecutor? Would you like the opportunity to speak to the court-appointed attorney, or would you like to proceed in some other way this morning?
Could I speak to the court-appointed attorney, please?
Absolutely, ma'am. He is in with someone else right now, but I will put your file in to go in with him as soon as possible, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is 21HR 06451 A and B. It's Huron Township versus Jenna Caroline Pickett. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
State your name for me, please.
Jenna Pickett.
Ms. Pickett, today is the day and time set for your arraignment and pretrial. It's alleged that on June 9, 2021, in Huron Township, you drove while your license was suspended, revoked, or denied. This is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail, fines of up to $500 plus court costs.
Yes.
It's also alleged that on that day, you committed the civil infraction of disobeying a stop sign. If you were found responsible on that charge, typical fine and cost is $180.
Okay.
There is an offer from the prosecutor that if you plead guilty to the added count of failing to display a valid license, that the driving while license would be dismissed. If you wish to accept the offer made by the prosecutor, would you like the opportunity to speak to the court-appointed attorney? Or would you like to proceed on your own this morning?
I would accept the offer. Plead guilty to that.
Thank you. Ms. Foley Carter, there's nothing in here about the stop sign.
We move to dismiss the stop sign, sorry, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Pickett, you understand that if the court accepts your plea of guilty to the failure to display a valid license, that you won't have a trial of any kind in this matter. You won't have the opportunity to call witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine any witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Okay.
Yes?
Uh,
Yes, you understand that?
no, I don't understand that. Sorry.
You understand that if you enter a plea of guilty to the failing to display a valid license this morning, that you won't have a trial?
Yes, I understand that.
You understand? You understand that if you enter the plea, you won't have the opportunity to call witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine any witnesses put forth by the prosecutor?
Yes, I understand.
And you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
No one's threatening you in any way?
No.
No one's promised you anything?
No.
You're pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Ma'am, is it true that on June the 9th, 2021 in Huron Township, you failed to display a valid license, although requested to do so by law enforcement?
Yes.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Ms. Pickett, the court accepts your plea to the added count of failure to display this stop sign. Stop sign civil infraction has already been dismissed by the prosecutor. Driving while license suspended, revoked, or denied is also dismissed pursuant to the plea. Fines and costs in this matter, the court will assess a fine of $100, cost of $100. There's crime victims of $75. There's mandatory state costs of $50 and fund fee of $20. By the court's calculations, that's $345. Are you able to pay that within 30 days or do you need more time?
I can pay that in 30 days.
Ma'am, you can either go online to pay it, you can mail it into the court, or you can bring it to the courthouse, okay?
Okay.
Do you have any questions, any other questions this morning, Ms. Pickett?
No, ma'am.
We are all set, ma'am. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Bowdish, was that sufficient time with Mr. Varela?
Yes, Your Honor. We're ready to proceed.
Back on the record in the file ending 744. For purposes of arraignment, how are we proceeding this morning?
Your Honor, we wish to waive the former reading, stand mute, ask the court to enter a not guilty plea.
And for purposes of pretrial, sir?
Your Honor, Mr. Varela wishes to take the mercy of the prosecutor, plead guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive a vehicle with the understanding the original charge would be dismissed. Charges.
Mr. Varela, you were able to hear Mr. Bowdish this morning,
Yes, ma'am.
and you wish to accept the offer made by the prosecutor in this matter?
Yes.
You understand that if the court accepts your plea to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, you won't have a trial of any kind in this matter?
Correct.
You won't have the opportunity to call witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine any witnesses put forth by the prosecutor?
Yes.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promising anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
You're pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Correct.
Sir, is it true that on April the 3rd, 2021 in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Satisfied, Mr. Bowditch?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, the court accepts your plea to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. The speeding and the no proof of insurance tickets will be dismissed. The driving while license suspended misdemeanor is similarly dismissed. The court is going to assess a fine of $300, cost of $200, crime victims fee of $75, mandatory state cost of $50, and fund fee of $20. By the court's calculations, this is $645. Are you able to pay that within 30 days, sir, or do you need more time?
I'll be able to pay.
Sir, you can go online and pay it. You can mail your payment to the court, or you can bring it to the court. There's a phone number in the file for you that ends in 2392. Is that still a valid number?
Yes, it is.
Thank you so very much. Anything else on behalf of the township?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Bowditch?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Mr. Varela, you're all set. You have a wonderful day, sir.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I have to step away for just a moment. I apologize.
No worries. Thank you.
I'll be right back.
Yes. I saw Ashley Smith. Ms. Smith,
I'm here.
would you turn your video on for me, please? Thank you. This is 20HR06931A. Huron Township versus Ashley Smith. State your name for me, ma'am.
Ashley Smith.
Ms. Smith, today is the day and time set for your arraignment and pretrial. It's alleged that on July 28, 2020 in Huron Township, you drove while your license was not valid or you had an improper license. So misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail, fines of up to $500 plus court costs. There is an offer in the file from the prosecutor that if you plead guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, the driving while license suspended would be dismissed. Do you wish to accept the offer made by the prosecutor? Would you like the opportunity to speak to the court-appointed attorney, or would you like to proceed on your own this morning?
I'd like to proceed on my own.
Okay, ma'am, and how do you wish to proceed?
Not guilty.
court's going to enter the not guilty plea as requested. And ma'am, for the purposes of pretrial, how do you wish to proceed?
I don't understand.
The matter is scheduled for arraignment and pretrial. The arraignment is where you enter your plea of guilty, not guilty, stand mute, and the court's already entered that plea as requested as not guilty. The second part of the hearing is the pretrial.
Not guilty.
I've entered that plea, ma'am. You're on the second step of your file. How do you intend to go forward in this matter?
I'm going to represent myself.
I understand that. Today is the pretrial.
Right.
Are you prepared to proceed with the pretrial?
Yes.
Okay, so for purposes of pretrial, how are we proceeding?
I'm not understanding the answer you're looking for.
Ms. Smith, what happens is when a party represents themselves, the court cannot give you assistance. The court can't explain the court rules or the statutes to you. You're held to the same standard as an attorney in this matter. So when you tell me you want a plea of not guilty, the court marks the file accordingly. The second step in the proceedings is a pretrial. Are you ready for a pretrial today, or are you looking for a new date?
I'll look for a new date.
I'm sorry?
I'll look for a new date. I can get a new date.
Okay. Between now and the next date, court's going to set your bond at $3,000 personal. You don't need to post any money, but what you do need to do is return for your adjourned date. That date will be September the 20th, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. That will be with Al Hemman.
$3,000, that's a bit much.
What do you mean that's a bit much, ma'am?
And my license was not suspended when I got pulled over.
Ma'am, do you have proof that your license was not invalid or improper?
Yes, I had just paid Westland $700.
Did you bring proof of that with you this morning?
I did not, but I can get it.
Okay. What I would suggest to you is that you have it available when you reappear on September the 20th, okay?
Okay.
I would also indicate for you, ma'am, that you have 2 outstanding matters with this court, that being a speeding ticket and no proof of insurance. Those are civil infractions where you owe the court $490. What I would suggest is that you contact the court's collection department and either establish a payment plan or pay those matters in full, okay?
Okay.
We'll see you back here on September 20th. Thank you. Mr. Bowditch.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm back. Sorry.
Ms. Hammond, you were waiting to speak to Mr. Bowditch, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Bowditch, Ms. Jennifer Hammond has a driving while license suspended, revoked, or denied. There is an offer for failure to display.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ma'am, you're going to see an invitation to join Mr. Bowditch in the breakout room. Please join him. Ms. Garion?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Do you have your client with you?
He was supposed to be there. I don't know if that phone number without a name might be Mr. Aliage, but I don't see him yet. Can I get a breakout room?
The phone number that's on our screen does not match what we have in the file for your client. So if you want to try to get a hold of him, or just sit tight and hopefully he'll show up here soon.
I will try. And can we go into a breakout room with the prosecutor? Is that possible?
You may. Marianne, if you will facilitate that, I'll appreciate it. In the interim, I'm going to be calling Mr. Fernandez and Ms. Fluker.
Thank you.
This is 21HR 06269 A and B. It's Huron Township versus Francisco Fernandez. Could you unmute yourself and state your name for me, please?
Yes, Francisco Huerta.
Sir, today is the day and time set for your arraignment and pretrial. It's alleged that on June the 5th, 2021 in Huron Township, you drove while your license was not valid or improper.
Yes.
It's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and fines of up to $500 plus court costs. On that same day, it's alleged that you committed the civil infraction of speeding 11 to 15 over the posted limit. If you were found responsible in this matter, total fines and costs are typically $170. There's an offer from the prosecutor that if you plead responsible to the added count of felon display of valid license, that the driving while license suspended and the speeding would be dismissed. Do you wish to accept the offer from the prosecutor, speak to the court-appointed attorney, or proceed on your own?
Pero pay. Just pay.
I'm sorry?
Just pay.
That's not an answer to the question I just asked you. There's an offer from the prosecutor that if you plead guilty to failure to display a valid license, the driving while license suspended would be, and the speeding ticket would be dismissed. My question is, would you like to accept that offer? Would you like to speak?
Yes.
Number one. Number two, would you like to speak to the court-appointed attorney? Or number three, would you like to proceed on your own in some other fashion?
Number one.
Number one. Sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea to the added count of felon display of valid license, you won't have a trial in this matter?
Yes.
You understand that you won't have the opportunity to see and cross-examine any witnesses that the prosecutor might have?
Yes.
And you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
No one's threatened you in any way?
No.
No one's promised you anything?
No.
You're pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
Is it true that on June 5th, 2021 in Huron Township, you failed to display a valid license, although requested to do so by law enforcement?
Yes.
Sir, the court will accept your plea of guilty to failing to display a valid license. Will
Yes.
assess a fine of $100, cost of $100, crime victims of $75, mandatory state costs of $50, and fund fee of $20. That's a total of $345. Are you able to pay that within 30 days?
Yes.
You can go online and pay that, sir. You can bring it to the court, or you can mail it to the court.
Online.
I'm sorry?
Online.
Online, mi34thdistrictcourt.com. Anything else this morning, Mr. Fernandez?
How much will be?
$345.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day, sir.
You too.
This is 21H000977 A, B, and C, Huron Township versus Fluker.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you quite yet.
Okay.
Mr. Bowdish, was that enough time with Ms. Hammond?
Yes, Your Honor. We're ready to proceed.
Let me do this one matter and then I'll recall Ms. Hammond's case. Ms. Fluker.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Could you come on screen for me, please? Thank you much. Today is the day and time set for your arraignment pre-trial.
I'm actually hard of hearing, so I try to put the phone against my ear so I can hear it perfectly. You know, I'm hard.
Understood. I just wanted to see you for 1 second. You're fine. Ma'am, it's
Excuse
alleged
me?
that on June 7th, I can hear you. It's alleged that on June 7th, 2021 in Huron Township, you drove while your license was suspended, revoked, or denied. This is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail, fine of up to $500 plus court costs. It's also alleged that on that day, again in Huron Township, you had no proof of insurance. This is a civil infraction that if you're found responsible, typically has fines and costs of $220. On that same day, again in Huron Township, it's alleged you were speeding 16 to 20 over the posted limit. A civil infraction that if you were found responsible, typically have fines and costs that total $180. There is an offer from the prosecutor that if you plead guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, that the speeding, the no proof of insurance, and the driving while license suspended would be dismissed. Do you wish to accept the offer made by the prosecutor? Would you like to speak to the court-appointed attorney, or would you like to proceed to the arraignment on your own?
I would like to accept the on my own.
You would like to do what?
I would like to do the first thing you just said.
You'd like to accept the offer made by the prosecutor?
Yeah.
Ma'am, you understand that if the court accepts your plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, you won't have a trial of any kind?
Yeah.
You understand that you won't have the ability to call witnesses on your own behalf or see or cross-examine any witnesses put forth by the prosecutor?
Yes.
Ms. Fluker?
Yeah.
Are you entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yeah.
No one's threatening you in any way, promise you anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
You're pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty.
Yeah.
Ma'am, is it true that on June 7th, 2021 in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Can you repeat that again, please?
Is it true that on June 7th, 2021 in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
No.
No, it's not true?
No, it's not true.
Okay, then the court cannot accept your plea. How do you wish to proceed this morning?
Do I have to pay today, or are you gonna give me more time to pay?
Ma'am, I can't hear you.
I said, when is the date that I have to pay everything off?
We're not even at payment. I asked, we were taking the plea, and you said no, you did not do what it's alleged that you did. So my question,
I apologize. I didn't misunderstand.
No.
Yes, I did. That is true.
Don't apologize. If there's a misunderstanding, I want to be clear, okay?
Okay, yeah. I'm just trying to hear everything you say. I'm hard of hearing. But I hear you though.
You have the phone all the way up to your ear now?
Yeah.
My question to you is it true that on June 7, 2021 in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yeah.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Ms. Fluker, the court accepts your plea to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. The original driving while license suspended is dismissed along with the 2 civil infractions. The court is going to impose a fine of $300, cost of $200, crime victims of $75. There's mandatory stay costs of $50 and a fund fee of $20. That's a total of $645. Are you able to pay that within 30 days, or do you need more time?
I would need more time.
Your phone number, please.
313-694-0161.
0161?
Yes.
The court's going to send your file to the collections department. You can go online to the court's website, which is mi34thdistrictcourt.com. You can submit a written request for a payment plan, or you can call the court's collection department to establish a payment plan, okay?
Okay.
Anything else, Ms. Fluker?
Yes, I did want to ask. So once I pay this off, am I able to renew my license, or?
If you don't, you have to pay a reinstatement fee to the court. I'm sorry, to the Secretary of State.
Yeah, I'm saying like, does this affect my ticket right now from having my license?
After you make these payments, yes, ma'am.
Okay, but thank you. That's all I
Okay.
have to ask.
Have a good day.
You
Ms.
too.
Gary, your client's here, but let me address the one matter that was ahead of yours, that being Ms. Hammond, the file ending 6201. Mr. Bowditch, are you ready to proceed in this matter?
Ready, Your Honor.
For the purposes of arraignment, how are we proceeding, sir?
Purposes of arraignment, Your Honor, we waive formal reading, stand mute. For purposes of the pretrial, Your Honor, Ms. Hammond wishes to take the mercy of the prosecutor, plead guilty to an added count of no operator's license on person, with the understanding her original charge would be dismissed.
Ms. Hammond, you were able to hear what Mr. Bowditch just said.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's your understanding that you will be tendering a plea of guilty to the added count of failing to display a valid license this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
And that the original charge of driving while license suspended would be dismissed?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you won't have a trial of any kind?
Yes, ma'am.
You won't have the opportunity to call witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine any witnesses put forth by the prosecutor?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
You're entering this plea freely and voluntarily? You haven't been threatened in any way?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it true that on July 12, 2020 in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes, ma'am.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Satisfied, Mr. Bowditch?
Yes, Your Honor, satisfied.
Ma'am, the court will accept your plea to the added count of allowing an unlicensed, I'm sorry. That's not right. Of failing to display a valid license. Assess a fine of $100, cost of $100. There's crime victims of $75. State costs, mandatory state costs of $50, fund fee of $20. There's a late fee of $50 and a warrant fee of $50. By the court's calculations, that's $445, ma'am. Are you able to pay that within 30 days or do you need more time?
I can pay that within 30 days. As far as the warrant, I believe I already addressed that.
You paid the FAC of $45 on June the 8th.
Yes.
That wasn't the warrant fee. That was another fee.
Okay.
That was for the Secretary of State clearance. Anything else, Ms. Foley Carter?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Bowditch?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Ms. Hammond, we're all set. You have a wonderful day, ma'am.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you. This is 21HR00211 A and B. It's Huron Township versus Samir Aliaj.
Good morning, Judge. For the record, Marie Garian on behalf of the defendant.
Would you unmute yourself and state your name for me, please, sir?
Samir, unmute yourself, please.
Thank you. Today is the day and time set for pretrial in this matter. Ma'am, how are we proceeding this morning?
Yes, Judge, I have had an opportunity to discuss this matter with the prosecutor. My client would plead guilty to the added count of allowing licensed driver to drive, with the understanding the other two charges would be dismissed.
Mr. Aliaj, were you able to hear your attorney this morning?
Yes.
And is your understanding that you will be tendering a plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes.
You understand that if the court accepts your plea in this matter, you won't have a trial of any kind?
Yes.
You won't have the opportunity to call witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine any witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes.
And you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
No one's threatening you in any way, promise you anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
You're pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty.
Yes.
Sir, is it true that on January 6, 2021 in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Satisfied, Ms. Garion?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, the court will accept your plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. Will dismiss the driving while license suspended and the speeding civil infraction. The court will impose a fine of $300, cost of $200. There's crime victims fee of $75, mandatory state cost of $50, fund fee of $20. By the court's calculations, that's $645. Are you able to pay that within 30 days or do you need more time?
In 3 days should be fine.
Sir, you can either go online to the MI 34th District Court, the court's website, and submit your payment. You can mail it into the court or you can bring it to the court building, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Anything else in this matter, Ms. Foley Carter?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Anything else, Ms. Garion?
No, thank you, Judge.
We are all set. Have a wonderful day, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and everyone have a good day. Bye-bye.
Ms. Johnson, Tasha Johnson.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, ma'am. This is 192807 and 193116.
Your Honor, this is Sharon Greer. I am on Miss Johnson's case as a carryover.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ms. Greer, there is an offer from the prosecutor in this matter that indicates that if Ms. Johnson were to tender a plea of guilty to the driving while license suspended in the 193116 case with a offense date of July 16, 2019, that the other one would be dismissed. Do you wish to accept that offer, or was there some other way that you were going to proceed this morning?
Your Honor, may I have a moment, a breakout room with Miss Johnson?
Absolutely. I'm going to step off while you're gone. Thank you.
Thank you.
The person that has the phone number ending in 3898, can you hear me?
To the person on the phone ending 3898, good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Your name, please.
Dylan West.
I'm sorry?
Dylan West.
Marianne, are you able to make that out?
No, ma'am.
Sir, I need you to speak up.
Dylan West.
Black?
West. W-E-S-T.
I can't, sir. I'm sorry. I hear you say W.
Judge, it's West, W-E-S-T.
Oh, thank you. Mr. West. Dylan West?
Yes,
Ooh,
ma'am.
wonderful. Mr. West, this is 20HR-09694 AOT. This is Huron Township versus Dylan West.
Yeah.
Mr. West, today is the day and time set for your arraignment and pretrial. It's alleged that on September 21st, 2020 in Huron Township, you drove while unlicensed or without a cycle endorsement.
Yes.
This is a misdemeanor punishable by up to $500 fine and 90 days in jail.
I've already paid the fine.
You already paid the fine.
Yeah, the tickets.
You could not have paid it, sir. There's a misdemeanor that I'm sitting looking at. When did you pay it?
I paid it to get my license reinstated. I don't remember. It was a couple months ago.
You paid $45 for your clearance on June the 7th.
I paid roughly $750 worth of tickets.
He defaulted on a couple civil infractions, Your Honor.
I was going to suggest, Mr. West, that might be some other matters. This misdemeanor matter remains outstanding.
The only thing that should be outstanding is my failure to appear.
That's not what I see, Mr. West. I'm going to have you sit right here. I'll have my secretary see if she can check Dylan West and see if there are any other outstanding matters. I'm just showing this single ticket, sir. Sit tight, though.
Oh.
There are no outstanding matters here. Just this one.
Okay.
So, Mr. West, for this sole matter of the driving without the cycle endorsement, there's an offer from the prosecutor that if you plead guilty to the added count of of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, that the driving without the cycle endorsement would be dismissed. Would you like to accept the offer made by the prosecutor? Would you like to speak to the court-appointed attorney? Or would you like to proceed with the arraignment on your own this morning?
What would that mean if I accepted that plea?
Mr. West, I'm going to have you speak to the court-appointed attorney, okay?
Okay.
He can explain that to you.
Okay.
Ms. Greer, Ms. Johnson is back if you're ready to proceed.
Your Honor, sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
May I speak with the prosecutor for just one moment?
Absolutely. Marianne will send you an invitation.
Thank you.
Caitlin, it's breakout room 2.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, this one.
Ms. Johnson, your attorney went into the breakout room with the prosecutor. If you'd sit tight.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mhm.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to ask it that I could speak with you in the breakout room.
Okay.
It's breakout room 3, Miss Greer and Miss Johnson.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is 20HR12990OT, 21HR06236B, 21HR06236A. These are Huron Township versus Brian Patrick. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9 a.m. It's now 11:04 by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, capias shall issue. And I just saw somebody come on and then disappear, and that's why I was trying to get in here, Mary Ann. This is 21HR05370 A, B, and C, Huron Township versus Tyler Anthony Wilson. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9 o'clock. It is now 11:05 by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, capias shall issue. The civil infractions will be deemed in default. Ms. Johnson, I'm sorry, Ms. Greer,
Yes.
were you ready with Ms. Johnson, or did you need more time in the breakout room?
No, we're ready, Your Honor.
Thank you. Back on the record in 193-116 and 192-807. I already have your appearances noted. Ms. Greer, how are we proceeding this morning?
Your Honor, Ms. Johnson is going to plead guilty to driving with the license suspended on the case ending in 2807, and the other case would be dismissed.
Is that your understanding, Ms. Foley Carter?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Ms. Johnson, were you able to hear the comments Ms. Greer just made?
Yes.
You understand that if the court accepts your plea of guilty to driving while license suspended in the case that's 192807, that you won't have a trial of any kind in this matter?
Yes.
That you won't have the opportunity to see and cross-examine any witnesses put forth by the prosecutor or call witnesses on your own behalf?
Yes.
And ma'am, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson, is it true that on July 1st, 2019 in Huron Township, you drove while your license was suspended or revoked or denied?
Yes.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Ms. Greer? Thank you. Ms. Johnson, the court accepts your plea of guilty to driving while license suspended, again in the file that ends in 2807. The court will impose a fine of $500, cost of $100. There's a crime victims fee of $75, mandatory state cost of $50, fund fee of $20. There are two bench warrant fees of $50 a piece. There's a $50 late fee and there's a $45 FAC. That's $940 by the court's calculations. Ma'am, are you able to pay that within 30 days or do you need more time?
Yes, I can.
Yes, you can. Are you sure?
Yes.
I'll make an indication in the file that it'll be $940 by September 16, 2021. We have a phone number for you, ma'am, that ends in 5423. Is that still a valid phone number?
Yes.
If it gets to be close to the middle of September and you have not been able to pay this amount, ma'am, please either go online to the court's website and submit a written request for a payment plan or contact the court and make a payment plan, okay?
Okay.
Anything else in this matter, Ms. Foley Carter?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Anything else this morning, Ms. Greer?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Johnson, thank you so much for your patience this morning and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Mr. Bowditch, were you able to speak to Mr. West this morning?
Yes, Your Honor, ready to proceed.
Thank you. For purposes of arraignment in the case ending 694, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, for purposes of arraignment, we would waive formal reading, stand mute, ask the court to enter a not guilty plea. As far as the pretrial, Your Honor, Mr. West wishes to take the mercy of the prosecutor and plead guilty to an added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, with the understanding the original charge would be dismissed.
Mr. West, were you able to hear Mr. Bowditch just now?
Yes, I was.
And is your understanding that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes.
You understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you won't have a trial of any kind, you won't have the opportunity to call witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine any witnesses put forth by the prosecutor?
Yes.
And you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Is it true that on September 21st, 2020 in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Satisfied, Mr. Bowditch?
Yes, Your Honor, satisfied.
Mr. West, the court accepts your plea of guilty to allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. Will dismiss the original driving while license suspended. Will assess a fine of $300, cost of $200. There's crime victims of $75, mandatory state cost of $50, fund fee of $20. There's a warrant fee of $50 and a late fee of $50. By the court's calculations, that's $745, sir. Are you able
No,
to
I've
pay
already
it
paid
within
that.
30?
I've already paid those. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Mr. West.
Okay.
But what happened, I believe, is that other you had other outstanding matters, and I had my secretary look into it when you first alleged that you paid this amount. Do you have a receipt from what you say you paid?
I'm gonna have to find it. Yeah, I don't have it with me, but there's no
Okay.
way that I can pay $1,400 in fines. I can't pay him
Mr.
twice.
West, no one would ask you to pay them twice, but it may be that you had other traffic tickets in this court. If you had
No,
civil infractions in this,
I've never had any other traffic tickets before this.
Marianne, are you able to see what the other tickets were and if he in fact made payments on them, please?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking right now.
Thank you.
He paid $315 on a no insurance recently, and $290 on a speeding. And I'm looking, I think there's another one. Just give me 1 second.
Mr. West, were you able to hear what she just said?
Yes.
Okay. Is that what actually happened?
What, did I paid the tickets already?
No, sir. What happened is you were issued a single ticket, but there were 3 citations on there. There was the cycle
Yes.
endorsement, there was the no proof of insurance, and then there was the speeding. What
Yes.
she just indicated is that you paid for the no proof of insurance and for the speeding.
So what is the balance?
The $745 that I just assessed in fines and costs that you said you've already paid.
So it's going to be around $1,400 total.
If you're adding
Because
what you
I-
already paid, yes, sir.
So is my license suspended currently?
It does not appear, sir. You paid the clearance fee back on June the 7th.
Can I talk to the prosecuting attorney?
You can talk to Mr. Bowditch, the court-appointed attorney.
Yeah, that's fine.
Please rejoin him in the breakout room. Attorney Ziad? This is 21HR067770A and B. Van Buren, I keep saying Van Buren. Huron Township versus Maroki.
Good morning, Judge. I can barely hear the court. I don't know if it's my phone or not. But we are here. My client was just on. I don't know. He just left again. I have yet to talk to the prosecutor if I can be in a breakout room.
You may. Mary Ann's going to send you an invitation to join Ms. Foley Carter in the breakout room.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. This is 21HR05444 A, B, and C, Huron Township versus Michael Allen. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:10 this morning. It is now 11:16 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear, habeas shall issue in the misdemeanor file. And the civil infractions will be deemed in default. This is H21HR05420 A, B, and C, Huron Township versus Autumn Avila. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:10 this morning. It is now 11:16 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear, KPS shall issue in the misdemeanor file. The civil infractions will be deemed in default. This is 21 HR 06155 A and B, Huron Township versus Ebony Solomon. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:10 this morning. It is now 11:17 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear, KPS shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. The civil infraction will be deemed in default. Was that enough time with the prosecutor? Oh, what happened to the attorney? Is he not back yet?
Go look for him real quick.
Sir, mute yourself, please. 21 HR 05447 A and B, Huron Township versus Kevin Blackwell. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:20 a.m. It's now 11:18 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear, the misdemeanor matter will be deemed. KPS shall issue in the misdemeanor matter, and the civil infraction will be deemed to be in default. What? This is 21 HR 05475 A, B, C, and D, Huron Township versus Tyrell Herndon. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:20 a.m. It is now 11:18 by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear, KPS shall issue in the misdemeanor matter, and the civil infractions will be deemed to be in default. This is 21 HR 06362 A and B, Huron Township versus Austin Scott Minak. This matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:20 a.m. It's now 11:19 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear, KPS shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. Civil infraction will be deemed to be in default. This is 21 HR 06202 A, B, C, and D, Huron Township versus Tyrell White. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:20 a.m. It's now 11:20 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear, KPS shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. The civil infractions will be deemed to be in default. Attorney Ziad, was that enough time to speak to the prosecutor? Or did you need more time to speak to Madam Prosecutor?
No, perfect, Judge. Thank you.
Do you need to speak to your client, or are you ready to proceed?
I'm ready to proceed if he can get on.
He's here. It looks like he's just frozen though. This is file ending 6770 A and B. I'm gonna put him out and see if when he reconnects, it's better for him.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Oh, there we go.
Oh, ooh, just in time. State your name for me, please, sir. Counsel, your appearances, please.
For the record, Ziad Nicholas Abu Zaid on behalf of Mr. Marogi.
Your P number, sir.
69447.
Mr. Maroki, are you here with us?
Yes.
State your
Perfect.
name for me, sir. For purposes of arraignment, how are we proceeding this morning?
Judge, purpose of arraignment will waive its formal reading. Stand mute.
Purposes of pretrial.
Judge, we do have a resolution, of course, upon your approval. Mr. Marogi will plead guilty to an amended charge of allowing unlicensed person to drive and exchange dismiss the original 2 charges.
Mr. Maroki, were you able to hear your attorney just now?
Guilty. I'm sorry. Yes, guilty.
Sir, is it your understanding that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive?
I'm sorry. Yes, guilty. I'm sorry.
I don't think he's on
Mr.
live.
Maroki?
I'm Marogi. Yes.
Is it your understanding that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive this morning?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir, if the court accepts your plea, you won't have a trial of any kind. You will have the opportunity to call witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine any witnesses put forth by the prosecutor. Understood?
Yes.
No, not you, Mr. West. Mr. Maroki.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sir, you're entering
I'm
this
sorry.
plea, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promising anything to get you to plead guilty?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Mr. Maroki, is it true that on June 16, 2021 in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive? Mr. Maroki?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Satisfied, Mr. Ziad?
Yes, Judge. Thank you.
The court accepts Mr. Maroki's plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. The civil infraction speeding will be dismissed along with the original driving while license suspended. The court will impose a fine of $300, cost of $200, crime victims of $75, mandatory state cost of $50, and the fund fee of $20. That's $645 by the court's calculation. Will your client be able to pay that within 30 days, or does he need more time?
30 days would be great. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. He can bring it to the court. He can go online and pay it, or he can mail it into the court, okay?
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, everyone.
Thank you. You too, sir.
Thanks, Caitlin. Bye.
A good one.
Mr. Bowditch and Mr. West.
Ready, Your Honor. Your Honor, I believe I've responded to all of Mr. West's questions. He would be requesting a payment plan, Your Honor.
Mr. West, was that sufficient time to speak to Mr. Bowditch?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you can go online and make a request for a payment plan, or you can contact the court's collection department. The court's website is mi34thdistrictcourt.com, okay?
All right.
Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Ms. Greer and Mr. Bowditch, I don't have anyone else in our virtual waiting room. Our last case was scheduled at 11 o'clock. All I will be doing for the next 10 minutes is the KPSS and the other failures to appear. You're welcome to hang around. I can't imagine why you would.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Have a
You
good
have
day.
you
Hello,
do the
Sharon.
same. Hello there. Judge, you have the patience of Job.
Ms. Greer, it's only Monday. Check back with me on Thursday afternoon.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Your Honor.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Mary Ann. Have a
Bye-bye.
nice day.
Hi, you too.
Same to you, Ms. Foley Carter. I can't imagine why you would hang around, but you're welcome to.
Thank you so much. Deb. You have a good one.
You too. This is 21 HR 06380 A, B, C, and D. Huron Township versus Kyle Dubisky. These matters were scheduled for arraignment pretrial and pre-hearing at 9:30 this morning. It's now 11:27 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, there being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, capias shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. The civil infractions will be deemed to be in default. This is 21 HR 05503 A and B. Huron Township versus Kelvin Jackson. These matters were scheduled for arraignment pretrial and pre-hearing at 9:30 this morning. It's now 11:27 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room. Defendant having failed to appear, capias shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. The civil infraction will be deemed to be in default. This is 21 HR 06404 A, B, and C. Huron Township versus Deshaun Maurice Dennis. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:40 a.m. It is now 11:28 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear, capias shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. The civil infractions will be deemed to be in default. This is 21 HR 05558 A and B and 20 HR 07758 A and B. Huron Township versus Kelsey Kraft. These matters were scheduled for review in the case ending 758B, where the defendant owes the court $318. The civil infraction that is 558B will be deemed to be in default in as much as it was scheduled for 9:50 a.m. and it's now 11:29 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, the two misdemeanor matters will be capias shall issue. Again, defendant having failed to appear, there being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room. This is 21 HR 06278 A and B. Huron Township versus Anthony Johnson. This matter was scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:50 a.m. It's now 11:30 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room. Defendant having failed to appear, capias shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. Civil infraction will be deemed to be in default. This is 21 HR 05681 A, B, and C. Huron Township versus Ashley Oluette. This matter was scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:50 a.m. It's now 11:30 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room. Defendant having failed to appear, capias shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. Civil infractions will be deemed to be in default. This is 20VB 02094. B. and 21HR06409 A, B, and C, and D. Huron Township versus Aaron Westway. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:50 a.m. It's now 11:31 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear as directed. Habeas shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. Civil infraction will be deemed to be in default. That was for the cases ending 409. The cases in 094B was a no proof of insurance from Van Buren Township from June 9th, 2020. That matter will be deemed to be in default. It says 21HR05630 A and B. Huron Township versus Kavan Williams. This matter was scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 10 a.m. It's now 11:33 by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room. Defendant having failed to appear, habeas shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. The civil infraction will be deemed to be in default. This is 1800540T, Huron Township versus Derek Black. This matter is scheduled for arraignment, pretrial at 10:10 a.m. It's now 11:33 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear, habeas shall issue in this matter. This is 21HR05687 A, B, and C. Huron Township versus Tremaine McCree. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 10:10 a.m. It's now 11:34 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear, habeas shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. The civil infractions will be deemed to be in default. This is 21HR02870 A and B. I don't know why I'm stuck on Van Buren today. Huron Township versus Robert Anderson. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 10:30 a.m. It's now 11:35 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room. Defendant having failed to appear, habeas shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. Civil infraction will be deemed to be in default. This is 21HR06518 A, B, and C. Huron Township versus Tara Stribling. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 10:30 a.m. It's now 11:36 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear as directed, habeas shall issue in the misdemeanor matters. The civil infraction will be deemed to be in default. This is 21 HR 06520, Huron Township versus Dustin Atkins. This matter was scheduled for arraignment pretrial at 10:40 a.m. It's now 11:36 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear, capias shall issue in this misdemeanor matter.
Judge, there's a Brandon McDonald that's in the waiting room.
He just popped in.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull him in. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is 21 HR 06523 A, B, C, and D, Huron Township versus Skylar Curtis. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 10:40 a.m. It's now 11:37 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, there being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, capias shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. The civil infractions will be deemed to be in default. This is 21 HR 01389 A and B. This is Huron Township versus Brandon McDonald. Mr. McDonald,
Yes, ma'am.
state your name for me, please.
Brandon McDonald.
Mr. McDonald, your matters were scheduled for 10:40 a.m. It's now 11:38 a.m. What happened
Yes,
to you this morning?
So I had to work last night, and I just I got off at like 9 o'clock this morning. And I had dozed off, and I had alarm set, and I had remembered like, oh no, I had to go to court today.
Mr. McDonald,
Yes, ma'am.
where we are is that you're scheduled for arraignment and pretrial this morning.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
alleged that on February 5th, 2021, in Huron Township, you failed to display a valid license, sir. This is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days in jail, a fine of up to $100 plus court costs. It's also alleged that on that day, you were impeding traffic. Sir, that's a civil infraction that if you were found responsible, the fine and cost would be $180. The prosecutor left approximately 20 minutes ago because our docket was done and there was no one here. But she left an offer that indicated that if you pled responsible to the impeding traffic, your fine will be $180 and the misdemeanor failure to display a valid license will be dismissed. Would you like to accept that offer from the prosecutor, or would you like this matter to be rescheduled at a time when the prosecutor could be here?
I accept. Not there's no point system.
Impeding is no points.
Okay. All right, yeah, I accept.
Sir, is it true that on February 5th, 2021, in Huron Township, you did something to impede traffic contrary to law?
Yes.
The court will accept your plea of responsible. Your fine and cost in this matter will be $180. Sir, are you able to pay that within 30 days or do you need more time?
I can pay it within 30 days.
Sir, you can either go online to MI 34th District Court and pay it. You can bring it to the courthouse or you can mail it to the court building.
And okay, and that's the one in Huron, or do I take it to the one in Romulus?
It's in Romulus. We're in Romulus. 11129 South Wayne Road. It's at Wayne, just south of 94 freeway.
Yeah, I know where it's at. I just didn't know if I was supposed to go there or.
Come to the courthouse.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Anything else, Mr. McDonald?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
That was perfect timing, sir. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. This is 21 HR 06538 A and B, Huron Township versus Joshua Zielinski. This matters was scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 10:40 this morning. It's now 11:41 a.m. by the court's clock. There are no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room. Defendant having failed to appear, capias shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. The civil infraction will be deemed to be in default. This is 21 HR 06570 A and B, Huron Township versus Dwayne Kevin Gilmer. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 10:50 a.m. It's now 11:42 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear as directed, capias shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. The civil infraction will be deemed to be in default. This is 21 HR 06590 A and B, Huron Township versus Albert Lamar Jones Jr. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 10:50 a.m. It's now 11:42 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear as directed, capias shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. The civil infraction will be deemed to be in default. This is 21 HR 06611 A and B, Huron Township versus Kayla Christine Casa. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 10:50 this morning, 10:50 a.m. It's now 11:42 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear as directed, capias shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. Civil infraction will be deemed to be in default. This is 21 HR 06243 A, B, and C, Huron Township versus Clarice Morales. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 11 a.m. It's now 11:43 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear as directed, capias shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. Civil infractions will be deemed to be in default. This is 21 HR 06733 A, B, C, and D, Kenny David Sharark, Huron Township versus Kenny David Sharark. Scheduled for 11 a.m. It's now 11:44 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear as directed, capias shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. Civil infractions will be deemed to be in default. Last, Marianne, but not least, is 21 HR 06828 A and B, Huron Township versus Kayla Smith. These matters were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 11 a.m. It's now 11:44 a.m. by the court's clock. There being no unidentified persons in the court's virtual waiting room, defendant having failed to appear as directed, capias shall issue in the misdemeanor matter. Civil infraction will be deemed to be in default. That concludes this court's 9 a.m. driving while licensed suspended docket. There being no other persons having presented by 11 o'clock for the arraignment docket. Marianne, we are concluded. We are off the record. Thank you so very much, ma'am.
You betcha.